Hi everyone, I got my sound working again. So I'm going to be showing you how I do my pencil cups. This will be the first of 3 in the going back to school series that I'm going to be doing. Yes, I was working with alcohol inks earlier. I'm going to start off by taping off my cup. This is 1-inch painter's tape. I sanded and washed the cup. It's a 20-ounce skinny. Spray painted it matte white. And now I'm just taping it off. Going to add the zigzag pattern, and I just googled zigzag pattern on the internet, and then I cut it into smaller sections to make it easier to put onto the cup. And when I put my zigzag section on, I kind of like to make it uneven. Because when you sharpen a pencil, it's not always perfect. It comes out looking uneven. Now at this point you could go ahead and Mod Podge each section and apply your glitter. But I am going to be going a step further, and I am going to be using acrylic paints to paint each section to match the color of glitter that I will be putting on it. You do not have to do it this way. This does add a little bit of extra time, and I don't always do it this way. Just depends on how much time I want to spend on the cup. But it also helps to save glitter when you're putting the glitter on a background that matches it. This one is Sequin Black, Classic Caramel, Yellow Flame, Sterling Silver, and Pink Parfait. These are all Walmart paints. You don't need anything fancy or expensive. So like I said, you do not have to do it this way. You can just do straight Mod Podge and glitter. But because this is a white background, you will more than likely have to end up doing 2 layers of Mod Podge and 2 layers of glitter. So by doing it this way, your glitter blends into the background, and if there's any spots that you may have missed, you won't be able to see them because it all blends together. So once I get done with this part, I'm going to let them dry. It doesn't take very long. And then I'm going to move on to the next section. So with this part, the silver part of the eraser and the shaved part of the pencil where you would put your gold glitter, those two you're going to have to take your time with a little bit, because you're not going to have any tape to keep you from going over into your next color. So just take your time. So now I'm just removing the zigzag stencil, and I apologize if I get out of view. I am still not used to this camera angle. And your colors don't have to match your glitter exactly. As long as it's close, then it'll work. So now I'm going to paint in the last section. I did let the brown dry a little bit because I didn't want to put wet paint. I didn't want the two paints to mix, so I did let the brown dry. So now that I have all the sections painted, I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to spray it with a clear sealer. And the reason I sealed it is because I'm going to be taping off a couple of the sections so that I can apply Mod Podge and glitter. So I taped off the black painted section, And now I'm taping off the zigzag part. I know it seems like a lot, but you could pretty much get this cup done in a couple of hours. This is Gold Rush. I have started to sell my own glitters. And this is Gold Rush. My glitters are only available through my group right now. So if you would like to come over and join the group, there is an order form that is available through the group where you can go and pick your glitters and give me all your information, and it sends it to my email. So that one is Gold Rush. Selling glitter is not anything that I was ever interested in, but it's something that my husband had been trying to talk me into for about a year now, and I was just never interested. But doing YouTube tutorials and tutorials in my group just convinced me that it was probably a good idea, so that way I knew that the glitters that I was showing y'all would be available to you. This one is Pink Panther. I just love this pink. I just think it's perfect for the pencil cup. So now I'm going to do the silver part, and I like to work back and forth from the bottom of the cup to the top of the cup. That way when I get done with one section, it can be dry while I'm working at the other end of the cup. And then when I come back down, that part will already be dry. This next color is Silver Bullet. It is a pure silver. I'm just trying to take my time when I get close to the pink so that I don't get it, overlap it. Now I'm moving back down to the other end of the cup and I'm doing the last small section. And this glitter is called Black Velvet. It is not a high flash black. It's not going to have a ton of sparkle jumping out at you, but it, once you get epoxy on it, it does have sparkle. Blacks are so hard to find, and when I received it and I got it under epoxy, it wasn't sparkly at all, so I added a little something something to it, and it does give off a little bit of a sparkle. Nothing too flashy. So now that I have all four of these, the top and the bottom sections, all glittered, I am going to seal the cup before I do the middle section, and that's just because I am going to be working in the middle section. It will help eliminate the risk of messing up any of the top or bottom sections while I'm Mod Podging. Or so I will seal the cup and then move on to the middle section. I'm just doing a little bit of touch up here. I saw a spot of Mod Podge where the glitter missed, so I'm just putting a little bit on the tip of my popsicle stick so I can just tap it on there, so I can have a little bit of control over it rather than just sprinkling it on and having it go everywhere. and I use Rust-Oleum 2X matte clear spray. So I thought that I was recording this part, and when I got done with it and went to shut the recording off, I noticed that I hadn't even started it, so I apologize. And right here I'm just showing you how I applied the Mod Podge. And then the glitter, this one is called Sun Angel. So now that I have the whole cup glittered now I am going to go seal the whole cup again. I sprayed one coat of clear spray paint, and now I am going to be doing a layer of quick coat, CC DIY quick coat. It is a sealer. If you've never used it before, it's good to seal your glitters. It works really well on chunky glitter. It helps a lot. And I've also used it to seal Marabou marble paints. You can use a gloved finger to apply this, or you can use a silicone brush like I'm doing. Just make sure you get it on there, make sure you get it all covered. So I applied this one, let it spin for about 15 minutes, and then apply another coat. And then you can either let it spin dry like this, like I did, or you can dry it with your heat gun. It cuts down on the drying time if you use your heat gun. Once that was dry, then I applied a layer of fast set epoxy. This fast set epoxy is dry to the touch in about 2 hours. It's from CC DIY, Counterculture DIY. The only problem with it is because the fast set heats up so quickly, it has the risk, a high risk of ambering or turning yellow, so it is not recommended to use on white or light colored cups like pale pinks, anything white. You can use it under the glitter, but not over any light colored glitters. And I thought these colors would be okay to use it over. So that was about 25 mLs of the fast set epoxy. Dry to the touch in about 2 hours. So at this point, you can add your decals, or if you want to add a little bit more detail, you can add vinyl strips to the silver part, where the silver metal part would be on a pencil. You can add vinyl strips to that. I am just going to use a silver Sharpie marker to outline the silver section, and I'm going to use a gold Sharpie to outline where the gold glitter is. But you do not have to do this. You can just leave it as is, put your decal on, epoxy, and that's it. You don't have to add all these little extra details. So because I put 25 mLs of epoxy on it, it didn't need a lot of sanding, but I did do a light sanding around the top and the bottom of the cup, and any spot sanding around the cup where it might have needed it. It didn't need very much because of the 25 mLs, but I always sand before I put my decals on. I just got this one off of Etsy. And this was probably 5 to 6 hours after I applied the fast set epoxy. It was dry, it was hard to the touch, but I didn't want to use a really sticky transfer tape. So this is one that's been used many times. And because it wasn't very sticky, it took me a minute to transfer it over. So we're just going to fast forward through that part. So fast set epoxy, it does cut down the making of a cup by a lot. There's other brands that have fast setting epoxy as well. KS Resin has some, Stone Coat has some. I'm not sure about Faux Rizzle. So once I get my decal on, my vinyl decal, I like to let it sit for a few hours just to make sure that it's fully adhered to the cup. Because if you put your epoxy on right after you put your decal on, there might be some spots that are not fully adhered, and as that epoxy warms up, the adhesive on the back of the vinyl is going to get soft and your decal might lift. So I like to just let it sit for a few hours. You can also use the clear coat that I sealed my glitter with. You can also put that over your decal to help seal that down. So now I am putting another layer of epoxy on. This was 25 mLs of epoxy, and once it had set, I could still feel the ridges from the decal on it, so I did do another 10 mLs of epoxy over the top of that, and then it was done. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up. I have 2 more going back to school cups that I'll be showing y'all. Please give my channel, subscribe to my channel, and come over and join my group. Come look at the glitters that I have. I do tutorials every week, and there's a lot of nice women over there. So I hope you'll come over and join us, and I will see you in the next tutorial. Bye everyone.